All right. Well, we're going to move on to the big thing that our fandom is talking about, which is who's going to be our quarterback, or as I say, who's stopping the QB carousel.
Hoping to
All
stop.
right. So this time we're going to start with Todd because he had the pretty radical thing of restructuring. So, what would you do to stop the QB carousel?
So I honestly don't think it's stopping this year. I do not. I think there's so much that's gone on in the last 7 years, including, the 3 drafts of our franchise quarterback, Brock, maybe longer than that, but you look at Brock, Paxton, and Drew. I think taking a non-sure thing in the draft, especially when there's going to be so many sure things in front of us, is a mistake. So I want Stidham, believe it or not. I want Stidham to start next year. I am talking about a rebuild. I am talking about letting, if we're going to do it, let's do it. Let's let this year go. It can't be any worse than the last 6, which have been terrible. But I don't see, unfortunately, we were in playoff contention till mid-December. We don't have the pick that's going to get us a sure thing. Couple may fall, but I'm not sure I believe in Bo Nix. I believe in Penix, but Penix is injury prone. So I think that let's just do it. And we talk about the Broncos being tight-lipped. I mean, I think their problem is they're trying to figure out, do we win next year or do we not? And those are 2 radically different strategic approaches.
Well, I've been reading a lot in the internet. A lot of people kind of go, I was going to allude to this. So I'm going to put this up here. How do you feel about Spencer Rattler? I was going to allude to this because Spencer's alluded to it, and a couple of the other guys that are in the contention for, they've said that the Denver Broncos have had the hardest interviews when it came to their position. Like Sean Payton came in with a questionnaire and was asking them about situational awareness and what they would do and how they would handle this particular thing. So this is so, like, any of us for Rattler? I know there's people in our fandom that are. I kind of am. I don't know. I'm on the fence. So, what do you guys think?
I have some thoughts on this. I only want Rattler, I think, if we can get Brock Bowers as a tight end. Like the Bowers Rattler combo this year could be pretty great. And just take a flyer, see what happens. If it's not the guy, then we have some nice key pieces to move into next year. Rattler is a little small, a little chaotic. He's been humbled for sure from the beginning of his career because he was, Caleb Williams took his job. So he was the man until, Caleb came along and it's kind of had a fall since then. So he's got a chip on his shoulder, which I find encouraging and I think is kind of cool. And something to kind of take a flyer on. But, back to a little bit of what Todd was saying, I don't believe we're in a full rebuild. Like you said, we were in playoff contention till mid-December. Teams that are in that position aren't rebuild material. Like they're not in need of a full teardown. We just need a competent quarterback who can do what Sean needs him to do. And clearly Russ wasn't that. So if we get a couple more pieces, I don't believe that we're that as far off as you think. I think we get a couple more pieces. We're good this year. We could even sniff the playoffs, but everybody's chasing the Texans model right now. Like, how do we duplicate the Texans model? And I think, if we can get halfway close to that this draft, I think we'll be in a good spot.
Steve?
Yeah. And honestly, like this kind of dovetails with, how I'm thinking about the quarterback. And part of me is in the boat of, well, let's just roll with Stidham. Let's get some future draft capital and just, find this season's not going to be great and whatever. The other thought I have is, all right, let's not trade up, but let's think, what can we trade down and pick up some capital? And then take a quarterback that we're like, he's rough around the edges. He's not quite like, he doesn't really rank highly. Let's take a shot on him because we feel like he's going to work with our system and he's going to be good. So, like, the guy I keep thinking of is like a Michael Penix. But could it be Spencer Rattler? Sure. It's really about a matter of what do the Paytons think about him and how he fits. And I would be fine with let's take a shot and, either he does well and we've got something to build around and we didn't have to spend a lot of draft capital to do it, or he totally tanks and we're in a better position to draft in 2025 and we possibly have some extra draft capital to do it with. So I feel like that's kind of the direction I'm at, where it's like, I'm not necessarily saying burn it all down, but like if it's smoldering a little bit, that's okay.
I don't think Sean came here to burn it all down, honestly. Like, he wouldn't have stepped into this role if he wanted to burn it all down and build it back.
Well, that's the thing is, like, both the Paytons are on, limited contracts, right? Like, they need to show something, especially George Payton, to really justify, continuing all of this. And so one more season of failure might be acceptable, but not two more. So if they say, tank for whoever we pick in the 2025 draft, like, they can do it, but whoever they get in 2025 better be the answer or this experiment is over.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we need to commit. I guess the one quick question I have for the three of you, do you think, regardless of all the potential scenarios up and down, does anyone think we should draft a quarterback at 12?
If the one they want is there at 12 and it's not an overextension, such as it's like a Bo Nix, a Penix, one of those, okay. If not, we can wait and we can draft an actual need, which that will be one of our questions later. We can draft a skilled position player in 12. So here's my thing. When I started out, I was with Todd. Peyton wanted Stidham. We paid $7 million to bring him over. Let's go with it. He had 3 games. That's nothing in terms of like being able to tell if he's any good or not, because he was brought in after the team was essentially broken and not going anywhere. So bring him in. And I was okay with picking. I'm not in favor of giving up draft capital to trade up. No way are we trade. I don't want to trade up in any way. We'll give away too much. That's how we got into these positions over the last couple of years, is because we kept giving away our second and third round draft picks, and you get good people in there.
But they're free. It's fine.
Yeah. What if Drake May fell to 8th or 10th?
I'm not a fan of Drake May.
I think he might fall. I think May might fall.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing. I think based on what Peyton wants and the type of player he wants, I like Bo Nix. And I'm going to say it, and everybody kind of uses this as a derogatory term. What Peyton wants is a Drew Brees game manager type player, a player that is good and can throw the ball and can make the hits and everything, but he also knows how to manage the game and knows how to keep the game going. Bo Nix kind of is in that realm, but I also like Penix in that too. But they're both injury prone. They played on teams that have had adversity, and I like that. Rattler, like you said, he got humbled, but we get Rattler. He played with Mims. So, Corton could probably catch anything from anybody if you put it in the right place, but that might be a good fit for Mims. So there's so many scenarios here that the only thing I'm not in favor of is not trading up.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, around the horn here, like,
you do not want to trade up. So you mean
it'd have to be good to trade. Like, it would have absolutely. I have to have JJ McCarthy, and he's available now, and I think he'll be gone type situation. I don't want JJ McCarthy. I'm not saying that, but it would have to be. We need this particular person. We want this cornerback. We want this edge rusher. It would have to be something. But I don't think of what I've been seeing. Quarterback is so big for what we need that I'm in agreement. Let's take someone. If they fall, okay. Let's take a chance on someone in this one, but let's not give away the bleeping barn in order to do it, is my thought on the issue.
So
Oh.
I don't think we should trade up. I wonder if either Knicks or Penix are worth the 12th pick of the draft. Like I look at Knicks, Penix, and Rattler as sort of the same, and I think we can pick any one of the three of them up in the second round or trade back. But we're just in this terrible position where if you need a quarterback, having the 12th pick in the draft is literally the worst place you can be.
Yeah.
Because the great ones are going to be gone, and you're going to have to overpay for the good ones.
Better than 13th.
Hot Raiders. So I saw the question come in. Do we want to talk about Drake May if he fell there?
Sean is North Carolina alum, and also my partner on Mondays. So he's a Drake May fan.
I guess I feel like, and I think part of it is just this like ongoing abuse we have suffered as Broncos fans of like, hey, we got Brock Osweiler. Hey, we got we got Drew Lock. Yeah, he's gonna be the hero. And like
Joe Flacco's
so, like,
Bronco.
I look at a guy
We're excited about
who
that.
falls to 12, and I think, what's wrong with him? Like, so but if you fell to 12, I mean, it's like, do you take him there? I guess. I mean, I think it's like it goes under the same thing I was talking about, where it's like take a chance on him. If he succeeds, great. If he doesn't, then you move on. But you are spending a first-round pick on him, so how easily do you move on? That's the big question.